Welcome back, everyone. We're about to take a deep dive into Morrison Hill Road.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is. We're heading to Tidioute, Pennsylvania.
Tidioute.
Yeah. It's this small town. Well, actually, let me back up.
Okay.
So picture this. You're in northwestern Pennsylvania, right? Surrounded by nature.
Okay, I'm with you.
And the Allegheny River's kind of cutting through it all.
I like where this is going.
Right on the banks of that river, that's where you'll find Tidioute.
I see. So where does Morrison Hill Road fit into all of this?
Morrison Hill Road, well, it's like this hidden gem within Tidioute. It's less about the road itself and more about what it leads you to.
I'm listening.
Our deep dive today is all about uncovering those hidden treasures. We're going to be using this awesome text called Exploring Morrison Hill Road, a hidden gem in Tidioute, PA, as our guide.
Sounds like a pretty comprehensive source.
It really is. So this road basically takes you right into the heart of the Allegheny National Forest.
Wow, okay, so we're talking serious nature vibes then.
Oh yeah, imagine like lush forests, hiking trails, maybe even some remnants of the past scattered around.
Remnants of the past, you say? Like what?
Well, the source mentions things like old stone walls, structures that hint at families who lived there ages ago.
That's fascinating. It's like this blend of history and nature all in one place.
Exactly. You get that sense of exploring a place where the past kind of whispers to you through the trees.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity.
I knew you'd be into this. Now, speaking of exploring, there's this amazing trail called the Morrison Trail, of course.
Of course.
17 kilometers long, winding right through the forest. And apparently the lookout points offer some breathtaking views.
Okay, you're talking my language now. I'm all about those scenic hikes.
Right. Okay, so we've got the hiking part down.
Sure.
But what about staying the night? You know me, I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to roughing it.
I hear you. So are we talking luxury hotels or something more rustic?
How about a happy medium? The source mentions this place called the Morrison Boat Access Campground.
Boat access, huh? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's right on the Allegheny Reservoir. 38 tent sites. But here's the catch, you can only get there by boat or hiking in.
Wow, so it's like this secluded escape.
Exactly. If you're looking for a bit of peace and quiet, that's the spot.
I'm already picturing myself setting up camp under the stars.
Me too. All right, now for the spooky part. Are you ready for some ghost stories?
Bring it on. I love a good ghost story.
Well, apparently Morrison Hill Road has a bit of a reputation for ghostly encounters.
No way. Like what kind of encounters?
The source is a bit vague on the details, but it mentions these tales of ghostly apparitions, strange happenings, stuff like that.
Ooh, that's creepy. Are there any specific stories?
Not in our source, but it does say that these stories are like passed down through generations of locals, adding to the mystery.
It's like you said, Morrison Hill Road is full of hidden treasures, including spooky ones.
Right. And speaking of spooky, there's this abandoned schoolhouse on the road.
An abandoned schoolhouse. Okay, that's giving me chills.
I know, right? It just adds to the whole eerie vibe of the place. Like, you can't help but wonder about the stories those walls could tell.
Now I'm really intrigued. I'm starting to think Morrison Hill Road is way more than just a scenic route.
Oh, it definitely is. But let's not forget about actual history. Are you a history buff at all?
You know me, I love learning about the past.
Perfect. Because just a short drive from Morrison Hill Road, you'll find this place called Pithole.
Pithole? Never heard of it.
It's a ghost town, but not in the spooky sense. It used to be this booming oil town back in the 1860s.
An oil town? Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, but get this, it went bust almost as quickly as it boomed.
So it's like a snapshot frozen in time.
Exactly. And now you can visit the site, walk among the remnants of that era. It's a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change,
That's incredible. So we've got nature, mystery, and now a literal ghost town. What else could this place possibly offer?
Well, all that exploring is bound to work up an appetite, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. So spill the beans. What's the food scene like around Morrison Hill Road?
Tidioute itself is all about that small town charm, so think like home-style cooking at those classic diners.
Okay, but give me some specifics. What should I be ordering?
The source actually gives a shout-out to the DG Market on Route 62.
DG Market. Got it. But what kind of food are we talking about?
They've got pierogies, venison stew, and homemade apple butter. Like, seriously good comfort food.
Venison stew. Ooh, that sounds hearty.
Right. It's like a nod to the area's hunting traditions and all that. And the apple butter. Apparently it's to die for.
Okay, you're making me hungry.
I know, right? And there's more. It's not just about the food itself, it's about the whole experience. Imagine you've just spent the day hiking, exploring, maybe even had a little spooky encounter.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And then you settle into a local diner, warm yourself up with a delicious meal. It's the perfect way to end the day.
It sounds like the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
Right. Morrison Hill Road seems to offer that in spades.
I'm loving this deep dive. It's like peeling back the layers of a fascinating onion.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's so much more to uncover. What if I told you that Tidioute is known for its community events as well?
Oh, tell me more. What kind of events are we talking about?
Well, they have a World War II reenactment that draws history buffs from all over. And for the fishing enthusiasts, there's even a fishing tournament.
A fishing tournament, huh? On the Allegheny, I'm guessing?
You got it. It sounds like a pretty big deal drawing in anglers from far and wide.
So it's not just about the individual experiences, it's about the community coming together to celebrate their passions.
Exactly. It adds another dimension to the whole Morrison Hill Road experience, It's like you're not just visiting a place, you're connecting with the people who make it special.
I'm really starting to get a feel for this place. It's not just a destination, it's like a living, breathing entity with its own unique character.
That's a perfect way to put it. But here's the thing. It's not a one-season wonder.
Oh, you mean there's something to do there year-round?
Absolutely. Spring wildflowers, summer kayaking on the Allegheny,
Mhm.
fall foliage.
Wait, kayaking on the Allegheny. Did you say kayaking on the Allegheny?
I did. And in winter, you've got those serene, snowy landscapes. It's like Morrison Hill Road transforms with each season, offering a different experience.
You're speaking my language. You know I love being out on the water. Tell me more about the Allegheny itself. What's so special about it?
Well, for starters, it's not just a pretty river. It played a huge role in the region's history.
How so?
Think back to the logging boom, right? The Allegheny was a vital waterway for transporting those massive rafts of logs.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about, isn't it? And then there's the wildlife deer, otters, maybe even a bald eagle or two if you're lucky.
Bald eagles?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Their numbers have been making a comeback in the area thanks to conservation efforts.
That's so cool. Okay, I'm officially adding kayaking on the Allegheny to my bucket list.
It's a must-do, but let's be practical for a moment. Say I'm convinced, right?
Yeah.
I want to go experience Morrison Hill Road for myself. What are my options for lodging?
Well, if you're not the camping type, you've got choices.
Lay it on me.
There are hotels in nearby Seneca, if you prefer something familiar.
Makes sense.
But if you want to really soak in the charm of the area, you could look into cabins or bed and breakfasts that are scattered throughout the region.
Okay, so whether I'm on a budget or looking for a more luxurious getaway, there's a place for me to stay.
Precisely. It all depends on your travel style and the kind of experience you're after. And with that, I think we've covered the basics of what Morrison Hill Road has to offer.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm already itching to start planning a trip.
Me too. I'm hooked. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's delve a little deeper into some of the more intriguing aspects of this place. What do you say we get back to those ghost stories?
Oh, absolutely. I can't resist a good mystery. And there's something about the unknown that just draws me in.
I hear you. There's a certain allure to places with a touch of the supernatural. And from what I'm gathering, Morrison Hill Road has that in spades.
So, those ghost stories, let's dig into those a little more. You mentioned they were kind of vague, right?
Yeah, the source doesn't go into a ton of detail.
So what do we actually know? Anything concrete?
Well, it's more like these whispers, right? These stories that have been passed down.
Through generations.
Exactly. People in Tidioute have been talking about these ghostly encounters for years, apparently.
Okay, but ghostly encounters could mean anything. Do we know what kind of ghosts we're dealing with? Friendly ghosts? Mischievous ghosts?
That's the fun part. It's all up to your imagination. The source kind of leaves it open-ended.
I mean, I'm all for a good mystery, but a little more info wouldn't hurt.
True, but sometimes it's that lack of detail that makes it even spookier, wouldn't you say?
I guess you've got a point. The not knowing can be pretty creepy.
Right. It's like you're walking down Morrison Hill Road at night and every shadow could be something more.
Okay, you're totally freaking me out now. Speaking of spooky places, what about that abandoned schoolhouse? Did the source say anything about that?
It did. It mentioned this weathered facade like it's been standing there for ages.
I can picture it. Old, creaky, maybe some broken windows.
Probably. It's like a time capsule frozen in time.
Do we know why it was abandoned?
The source didn't say, unfortunately.
Ah, man. Another mystery. So ghost stories and abandoned buildings, got it. But let's move on to something a little more Active.
Active, you mean like hiking?
Well, hiking, kayaking, all that good stuff. The source did mention kayaking on the Allegheny, right?
It did. It sounds pretty amazing.
Okay, but what's the river actually like for kayaking? Is it calm? Challenging?
It's supposed to be relatively calm, perfect for like a leisurely paddle.
Okay, that sounds up my alley. Not too intense.
But there are apparently sections where the current picks up a bit, so if you're feeling adventurous.
I'll probably stick to the calm parts. What about wildlife? Anything cool to see?
Oh yeah, the wildlife is supposed to be amazing. You might even spot a bald eagle.
No way. Really? Bald eagle.
Yeah, they've made a big comeback in the area.
That's incredible. I'd love to see one in the wild. So kayaking's a must-do. Got it. What about those days when I just want to relax and take in the scenery?
Well, the source talks about these awesome picnic spots all along Morrison Hill Road.
Picnic spots? Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine beautiful views, a nice breeze, and a basket full of goodies from the DG market.
Ooh, yes. Those pierogies, that venison stew, the apple butter.
It sounds like the perfect way to spend an afternoon.
It does. Okay, so we've got adventure, we've got relaxation, we've got food.
What more could you ask for?
I know, right? It's the perfect combination. But you mentioned something about community events earlier. Fill me in on those.
Yeah, Tidioute is big on community. They've got this World War II reenactment that's super popular.
A reenactment. Wow, that's pretty unique.
Right? They go all out. Battles, encampments, people in period clothing.
I can see why that would draw a crowd.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. And then there's the fishing tournament.
Oh, right. The fishing tournament on the Allegheny.
Yep. It's open to everyone from seasoned anglers to total beginners.
That's cool. So it's not just about the competition. It's about bringing people together.
Exactly. It's like this shared love of fishing, and the Allegheny River kind of acts as this common ground.
I love that. So we've got history, we've got nature, we've got adventure, we've got community events. Morrison Hill Road really does seem to have it all.
It's like this hidden gem that just keeps on shining the more you learn about it.
I'm sold. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the practical side of planning a trip to this amazing place. All right, so planning a trip. Where do we even begin?
Well, first things first. When are we thinking of going?
That's a good question. What's the best time to visit Morrison Hill Road?
Depends what you're after. You mentioned kayaking and history, right?
Yeah, those are definitely high on my list.
Well, spring or fall might be ideal. You get those vibrant colors. Plus, the temperatures are perfect for being out on the water.
And fewer crowds, hopefully.
Exactly. It's like this sweet spot before the summer rush.
Okay, spring or fall it is. Now, what about places to stay? We talked about hotels, cabins, all that. Any recommendations?
I'm thinking a cabin near the river might be right up your alley.
A cabin. Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Imagine waking up to the sound of the Allegheny, surrounded by nature.
And still close enough to explore all the historical spots.
Exactly. It's the best of both worlds.
Okay, I'm sold on the cabin idea. Now, assuming most people drive to Morrison Hill Road, what if I'm not a road trip person?
Well, the closest major airport is in Pittsburgh.
Okay, so I'd have to fly into Pittsburgh and then...
Rent a car, most likely. It's about a 2-hour drive from there to Tidioute.
2 hours? Not too bad. Maybe I could turn that drive into an adventure in itself.
Now you're thinking. There are tons of charming little towns scattered throughout Pennsylvania.
Ooh, like a mini road trip within a road trip.
Exactly. Who knows what hidden gems you might stumble upon along the way.
I love that idea. Okay, so we've got the travel logistics sorted out. But you mentioned sustainable tourism earlier. What does that look like in practice?
Well, it's all about being mindful, right? Minimizing our impact on the environment and respecting the local community.
So like packing reusable water bottles, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And choosing eco-friendly accommodations, supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability.
Right, so it's about making conscious choices.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Especially in a place like Morrison Hill Road, where nature is such a big draw.
It'd be a shame to spoil that beauty, wouldn't it?
Exactly. It's our responsibility to preserve these places for future generations.
Well said. Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts on Morrison Hill Road?
Approach it with an open mind. Don't just see it as a destination. See it as an experience waiting to unfold.
I like that. Embrace the history, the legends, the nature.
Exactly. Let Morrison Hill Road surprise you.
It sounds amazing. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to book a trip.
Me too. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
To our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed exploring Morrison Hill Road with us.
And who knows, maybe we'll bump into you there someday.
Until next time, happy travels.